Welcome on in to the Jets Roundtable. I'm Richie, he's Matt, and we got a Jets-Dolphins preview show to get into. We have some news to get into around the New York Jets from Aaron Glenn. We heard from him today. Some injury updates. Justin Fields back at practice. Will he clear concussion protocol? Jermaine Johnson's out. Potentially another game. The Jets make a trade. Woo, we got some things to talk about today, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to preview this Jets-Dolphins game, and I feel like we have a lot to get into. Like you're saying, some quarterback news, Justin Fields back on the practice field, some Aaron Glenn comments. We got a lot of stuff to cover.
Yeah, we do got a lot of stuff to cover here on the Jets Roundtable. Jake could not make it today, but we got you covered here, me and Matt O'Leary. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button on your way into this show. We're excited to talk all things New York Jets on this YouTube channel multiple times a week. So let's get straight into business. We heard from Aaron Glenn, talked a lot this week about whether it's him being himself and animated on the sideline, the injuries, the updates, the trades. But when it comes to Aaron Glenn, the one thing I took away from today's press conference, Matt, was his response to him going viral, that dance that he did on the sideline after McDonald's blocked field goal. He said he's not afraid to be himself, and that's exactly who he is. What was your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I thought that was a perfect answer, because my thought as well was that my sign just go out. What the hell's going on here? I'm struggling over here, Richie. We're down bad in Jets lands and in my studio apparently.
What happened? Your light went on?
No, it went out. It was on a second ago. It's plugged in. I don't know what's going on.
The light went out.
Yeah, it's hot, so I don't know. Maybe it blew. Anyway, on Aaron Glenn, I think he should be himself. That's the exact answer that I wanted him to give, was that he should act like himself and shouldn't pretend that he's something that he's not. He was pumped up for a huge play on the sideline, man. Do you?
Yeah, I agree, man. It's him being himself is exactly what I love, because that's definitely something that I embrace personally, is not being afraid to be 100% authentic to yourself, and does not really matter what other people have to say about you. That's really what it comes down to from my perspective as well. But yeah, a lot of fun things that Aaron Glenn said. But what's the update on your light situation?
I don't know. Do you want me to try to replug it in here? Do we have time for that? I'm trying.
Yeah, bro. Come on, man.
I'm trying to be a good partner and not let anything distract me behind me. But all right, let's do a test here.
No, let's do a test, man. This is the equipment test. We're all good. I mean, I know lighting is important.
See, I don't know. It's plugged in over here. But
so the light just blew. Has that ever happened before?
No. I think the connection got fried, because this right here, this piece is really hot.
Ooh, blew up.
Yeah, it blew up on me.
We're both having some technical difficulties. I don't have you in my ears.
Oh, no.
I don't know what's going on with this.
Not good. We're down bad over here today, gentlemen. Well,
that's all right. A lightless show. I mean, I could turn my light off so it balances it out.
Yeah, I mean, the light behind me usually I feel like makes it a little bit better, but now I feel like I'm all washed out. Now I'm tangled in this, Richie. Oh my God.
Now it's a giant mess. Well, welcome to the equipment fuse blow up of the Jet Roundtable. And was that the light behind you that blew?
Yeah, the neon. I'm pointing the wrong way. The neon one. It's all.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is mine's still up, so hopefully it doesn't affect me somehow. But listen, man, getting back into the Jets, Aaron Glenn spoke about Justin Fields, and it seems like he is the starting quarterback. Shocker, but the question is, will he be healthy? Will he be cleared? He was back at practice today. He was wearing a new helmet at practice, Matt. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't, no.
I'll have to pull that up for you, but definitely looks a little different out there. So what's your expectations for Justin Fields if he does return to action on Monday night? I know that we've talked about it before. Are we seeing the Steelers version, the Bills version, or somewhere in between? What do you think? And here he is at practice. That's definitely a new helmet. I don't know if it's because of the concussion or he's just trying to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I think it looks good. And if it's more protective, and he's dealing with a concussion, like, all for that, obviously. Even if you have to toss him out there in a Guardian cap, whatever you got to do, right, to get him out and back out on the football field. I think it'll be somewhere in between Pittsburgh and the Buffalo game. It was really unfortunate that you had the swing that you did, right? Like arguably his best game as a pro in week 1 and one of his worst game, if not his worst games as a pro in week 2. At least I feel like this is a pretty good landing spot for him coming back into the lineup at quarterback, going up against this Miami defense, which has given up the most points in the NFL. So it's not like he's coming back against, a top 3 defensive unit, and, obviously hoping that he comes back and then lands on his feet here.
I agree. I think that what we're seeing right here from Justin Fields is, him back at practice. This is who we want. We want to see Justin Fields healthy, and I hope that he will get out there. And I like this matchup as well. Justin Fields holds the NFL record for the most rushing yards in NFL history in a regular season game, and it came against the Miami Dolphins. And that was the game where Mike McDaniel was whining and crying on the sidelines. Stop running, Justin. Stop running on us. I don't know if you remember that viral moment. Do you remember that?
No, I don't, but I hope he has that same reaction in this game.
Yeah, Fields was going nuclear on the Dolphins in Chicago when that was the year where Fields just was had over 1,100 rushing yards for the season, and he was absolutely dominating the ground that season, and he did it against them. So we shall see. And I think that Monday night, man, what does this game mean for this Jets team searching for their first win? What adjustments do you need to see? Because from my perspective, Matt, the Jets have not forced a turnover yet on defense. No. That's ridiculous. We've said all throughout this offseason that we at least expect the Jets, this defense, that the difference is going to be more opportunistic, finding ways to get the ball on defense, and they have not forced a single turnover in 3 games. So that's what I'm looking at, going up against a turnover-prone quarterback.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if there was ever a quarterback to help you get right in the turnover department, I think it would be Tua. But you could also kind of make the argument that this might be an opportunity for Tua to get right because he's going up against a defense that can't create any turnovers either. So it depends on how you look at it. But you're right. The Jets are not going to win very many games with how their defense is playing right now if they don't force turnovers, because it just feels like teams can march up and down the field on them right now, either rushing or passing. And Miami, with the flaws that they do have, at least offensively, they're a team with a lot of speed. If the Jets can't tackle, that really worries me for this game.
Yeah, the tackling is definitely an issue. And speaking of tackling, the Jets made a trade, Matt. Where did that come from? We missed Jason Brownley, but we replaced him with Jarvis Brownley. How about that? So the New York Jets trade for a cornerback from the Tennessee Titans who was beloved by their fan base, a starter and a guy that they drafted in the 5th round 2 years ago, who is physical, loves to tackle, has a lot of elements to his game that I can tell fits what Aaron Glenn's trying to do here. He is injured, and I think that's part of the reason why I guess the Titans want to trade him. I don't know. But what was your reaction when the Jets landed Jarvis Brownley Jr. from the Titans this week?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I didn't expect them to make a move, but I don't really think it cost you a whole lot to do it, right? A late round pick swap. The Jets trade a 6th round pick for Brownley and a 7th. So they're just moving down in the draft, and they're getting someone who has a bunch of starting experience for a young player who was a day 3 pick. And, there's obviously some flaws to his game. I think he's a little grabby. The number of penalties that he has through 2 years is pretty high, but he's a physical corner. He comes down to line of scrimmage and make plays in the run game. I'll take that because the Jets secondary hasn't been tackling very well at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if they use him right away. I know he's, fighting an injury right now, so I don't know if health-wise he'll be okay to go in this game against Miami, but as soon as he's healthy, I think we'll see him out there.
And I feel like why would the Titans trade him away? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It's unless they just feel like they are in such a bad spot roster-wise that they need all the draft assets that they can get. But, the Titans GM, Borgonzi, it's his first year. He didn't draft him, so maybe that's not the type of corner that he really likes or wants to build around, and saw an opportunity to move up in the draft and took it. But a lot of Titans fans, or the reactions that I saw, they were very disappointed that they gave up on this kid already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you talk about a 5th-round pick that became a starter who has a lot of tackles and a lot of like elements to his game that you'd like. Still young. Does he replace Brandon Stevens? Because Aaron Glenn said there's a plan for him, also not ruling out him in the nickel. So what's the plan for him when he's healthy? Because I don't expect him to be healthy this game. But what's the plan you think it would be to bring in Jarvis Brownley into the secondary that's struggling?
Yeah, maybe it is honestly as simple as a Brandon Stevens replacement. I know he hasn't looked good enough, but you would think AZ Thomas would be the first up to get that look. So part of me wonders if maybe they're considering moving Michael Carter back to safety, or at least bringing in some competition for Michael Carter, who hasn't really looked like himself this year and is banged up for a second year in a row. Maybe it's just something that this staff in Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks have a different style at cornerback than what, Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich liked, and are looking for opportunities to improve that room, or at least bring in competition for someone like Michael Carter.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, time will tell what the philosophy is going to be for the New York Jets when it comes to Jarvis Brownley Jr., but I thought it was an intriguing trade, and I think this is what I meant by Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. We got to give them time to get their guys into the building, and it seems like Brownley's a guy that they definitely targeted, definitely wanted to be part of this organization, so we'll see at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to the injuries, there's a lot of people returning, Matt. So do you remember what Aaron Glenn said? I think Jermaine Johnson's out, but everybody else should be back, no?
Yeah, it sounds that way, which is a good sign, right, for the Jets getting healthy, other than, like, we know the Quincy Williams news and Marcelino McCurry-Ball, they land on IR. So linebacker is going to look a little bit different, but for the most part, the Jets are getting healthy otherwise. And, they need to, because, these next few games here, you feel pretty good about the Jets' chances in them. I'm not saying that they're all going to be guaranteed victories. I don't think any game on the Jets schedule is a guaranteed victory, but
besides Monday night,
I'm not going to even say Monday night, dude. I don't know. They got to prove it first, right? And they got to get that first win. So it's important. This is an important game coming up.
Very important game coming up. And speaking of the injuries to Quincy and McCrary-Ball, seems like Kiko, how do you say his last name?
Mawingoa.
Wait, how do you say it?
I think it's Mawingoa.
Kiko Mawingoa. There we go. I think I got it. I always struggle with his last name, so I'm happy to have Matt here to help me out. What's your expectations with him filling in? There's a lot of rookies on this defense that's filling in for injured players. Tony Adams was out. Malachi Moore stepped in. When Sauce got injured in the middle of the game, AZ Thomas stepped in. Now Quincy's going down. You got Kiko coming on in. What's your expectation with Kiko in his first start?
My expectations aren't crazy high, just because I don't think he, in training camp or the preseason or any of the action we've seen from him in the first 3 games, he didn't really do anything to stand out in a positive way. He was a day 3 guy. I think they viewed him more as a special teamer for this year and more of someone who could develop year over year. Him getting thrust in there 4 weeks into his rookie season, I don't know how fair that is to him. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks, and a tough test right out of the gate, right? Like, the linebacker play is going to be an important factor in this game, because they're going to need to tackle over the middle of the field.
Yeah. And I feel like you look at this roster, there's some people on this team that unfortunately may not have long-term futures. Quincy, contract year. Brees, contract year. And a guy like Quincy getting hurt, this could be a blessing in disguise for Kiko to maybe show, like, hey, I'm actually a linebacker you could trust moving forward, even though I still love Quincy Williams. I think he's actually been one of the only productive players on this entire defense so far this season, so it's going to be a brutal blow. And then McCrary-Ball is down, but definitely upsetting there, but there's no excuse, because the part of this team that's healthy is the offensive line and the defense. Well, the defensive line, not super healthy, but the offensive line in particular, man, we're healthy up there. minus AVT, of course. What's your thoughts of how the offensive line is going to be able to play in this one? Because it's been a little underwhelming ever since their dominant effort in week one.
Yeah, it definitely has been a little underwhelming. I think this is an opportunity for them to, I don't want to call it a get right game. I think that's maybe too disrespectful for Miami at this point, but they're going up against a defense that's struggling and one that doesn't have as much firepower as either Tampa or Buffalo. So potential opportunity to get right, I guess.
I hope, man. I mean, Olu's got to step up. John Simpson, Orman Membu's been solid, but it starts with the run game, man. And I don't know what's wrong with this run game. It really frustrates me. I think Justin Fields coming back could definitely help out the run game, get some optimism going on that side of the ball. But that's really what it comes down to. Garrett Wilson is the only piece of this offense that I feel confident in. All of a sudden, Breece Hall is not really doing anything after week one. Braylon Allen hasn't really lived up to the hype yet this season. Like, what's going on with Breece and Braylon, man? What's going on?
Yeah, it's, they looked great in week one. They ran the ball really well against Buffalo. I thought Buffalo had a really good game plan to mitigate the Jets' run game with how they were blitzing their corners on early downs. And then Tampa, man, another team that just cranked up the blitz. So I don't know if it's Engstrand changing things on how their approach to the run game is going to be, or if it's just, hey, you went against Tampa Bay, they stopped the run against everybody, and Buffalo's one of the best teams in the NFL, and it's going to go back to looking like it did against Pittsburgh just because the opponent is a little bit different. But that's definitely something I'm watching for on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the offensive line is definitely what I'll be staring at the most, because without that, this offense is pretty much going to go down in the gutter. But what's your predictions, man? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Because Jets fans are searching for that first win, man, and we need it. What's your expectations in this game from a prediction standpoint?
Yeah, I did predict. Will Parkinson put out a tweet and was like, give me your Jets predictions for this game. And I think the Jets run for 175 yards in this game, which would be just under what they did against Pittsburgh. That would be a great performance. And I do think the Jets can get their first win. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I don't think the Jets blow them out. That's not their style of play. But these are two defenses that really struggle. Both offenses are inconsistent, but I think you're looking at like a 27-24 kind of game, relatively high scoring, back and forth kind of action.
With who winning?
With the Jets winning.
Yeah. We have a Jets win prediction from Matt. Yeah. Now actually go out there and win, man. This fan base, I need bragging rights on the Roundtable, and I don't want to have to deal with TD Finn's talk with the loss. Okay? I don't want to deal with that. We're also, the next time the Jets and the Dolphins will be facing off against each other is a Roundtable sports event. We actually are doing another event this year. Jets Dolphins. It's where the Jets are debuting their rivalry uniforms. How about that, Matt? That's going to be fun. See who wants to come to see December football.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the Jets and Dolphins aren't, it's not like I forget which week it is, but hopefully they're not like
14.
Okay, I was going to say like 2-12 going into that game, so it's pretty close. I hope the Jets have more wins stacked at that point, but it could be a fun one at MetLife, right? At least you want to see what those jerseys look like in person.
Yeah, I bought one too. I got a Quinnen Williams jersey, and hopefully he can go out there and absolutely play some good football. He played decent football last game against the Bucs. I saw a nice baldy breakdown. But yeah, man. So shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Eric, Johnny, Working Man, Wesley, a lot of fun people tuning into the Jets Roundtable here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way into the show. We got Billy saying, you go at your strengths. Top 10 offensive line, a strength. Running back's a strength. Quarterback that can run helps. Keep that terrible defense on the sideline. Do we have a top 10 offensive line? I mean, it looked like we did after week one, but I'm not going to put them in the top 10 until they go out there and do it consistently. Week one felt like that fever dream. It's like, oh my God, we're the best offense in the league. Justin Fields can pass. We look great. And then 2 duds. 2. Now Fields going down did not help, but that Bills game was laughable. And let's not forget, I was at that game against the Bills Dolphins game last week in Buffalo. Like, the Dolphins was moving the ball on that defense, something the Jets could not do. So that also makes me a little bit worried about this game, different matchup here. But what are the matchups you like in this game the most, Matt, from attacking the Dolphins perspective from the Jets offense against their defense?
It might be the offensive line and just them getting back to what we saw in week 1, going up against a Miami Dolphins defense. I don't think this is going to be a game where Justin Fields throws for over 200 yards like what he did in week 1. I think we're more likely to see one of his better rushing performances. And I think the Jets want to get back to running more of those RPOs that they did the first 2 weeks. Didn't really do that at all with Tyrod, not the same style of quarterback, clearly. So I think that's the area in which that I would go, exposing the Dolphins defense with some play action fakes, some RPOs, and a heavy dose of the run this week.
Please, the heavy dose of the run is pretty much everything. The working man brings up a point. That's the Justin Fields experiment. You get the real Fields in 3 weeks. Good, bad, hurt. Wow.
I mean, that is unfortunately pretty much summed up his entire career, right? Like, he's never played a full season in the NFL. He has weeks where you go, oh my God, this guy looks really good. And then you have other weeks where he's 3 of 11 passing and throws for 25 yards. And you're going, oh shit, like what are you, Justin? Can you please just pick a lane and stay there?
And that one game that it looks so good, fans cling on to and hope that can be replicated on man, it is frustrating. And, the Jets, we don't want to look ahead already and into next season, but, the quarterback position is going to be the most important piece to get this team back to where we've been waiting for a long, long time. So only time will tell about that. But yeah, folks, we wanted to go live as we usually do here on Thursdays to talk all things Jets on the Jets Roundtable. This was a shorter episode today because I got some things coming up on my end. But Matt, thank you for coming on here and previewing the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets game, as you always kindly do on the Jets Roundtable. Guys, go check out Matt O'Leary's YouTube channel. That's linked in the description. Matt, anything you want to say to the people before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I hope next week when we're back here on the Jets Roundtable, we're talking about the Jets' first win of the season. That's right, man. I want those bragging rights too.
Let's go, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit those buttons, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy Sam Darnold tonight. Just kidding. Only I am. Peace.